If you build front-end interfaces, you know the constant tension between shipping something today and making sure it doesn't collapse tomorrow. Usually, you face a strict binary choice. Option 1 is committing to a heavy CLI framework. It gives you enterprise-level power, but you pay for it up front with setup friction and complex build pipelines. Option 2 is grabbing a drop-in microlibrary. It feels great on day one because you get instant gratification, but you quickly hit a hard ceiling on what the library can actually do, and that leads to the inevitable prototyping trap. The moment your project outgrows those basic bounds, you're forced into a costly, time-consuming total rewrite just to move to a serious framework. Xuda Slim is designed specifically to break this cycle. It provides a single script CDN entry point that uses the same reactive runtime engine found in the full Xuda platform. To see where this fits, look at this chart mapping setup friction on the horizontal axis against enterprise scalability on the vertical axis. Your heavy CLI environments sit firmly in the top right. They scale beautifully, but demand heavy initial investment. Traditional microlibraries and drop-in scripts fall into the bottom left. You start fast, but you sacrifice scale. Xuda Slim drops right into the empty top left quadrant. You get immediate time to value without giving up the enterprise scalability you'll need later. The mechanical advantage of Slim starts with 0 required build steps to get a reactive UI on screen. You just load the script and go. From there, you have 3 distinct input modes. The first is authoring standard DOM interfaces rapidly, using plain HTML template tags. The trade-off here is straightforward. By working directly in the browser's DOM, you give up the immediate offline type checking you'd normally get from a local CLI environment. If you need more structure, the second mode lets you bypass HTML and inject explicit JSON program data to build the program tree. This is highly effective for enterprise architects. When you have back-end code generators or headless CMS tools dictating the UI structure, you can pass that exact shape to Slim as raw data. The cost of that control is rigor. JSON requires strict structural formatting compared to the free-flowing nature of HTML templates. The third mode is hybrid runtime authoring, where you assemble the program shape entirely via JavaScript. If you're an ISV or a plugin developer, this lets you spin up isolated widget sandboxes instantly, interacting with the real runtime on the fly. Looking at this comparison matrix for HTML, JSON, and hybrid modes, you can see how they stack up. HTML wins on setup speed for landing pages. JSON demands high structural rigor but serves code generation perfectly, and hybrid gives developers programmatic control. Regardless of the mode you choose, all 3 parse down to the exact same Xuda runtime document under the hood. Most basic DOM manipulation scripts hit a wall fast. They work fine for a simple drop-down menu, but they collapse under the weight of complex, nested application states. Slim handles this complexity using Xuda-specific structural tags as its architectural backbone. For example, the XU panel tag lets you embed entirely separate Xuda programs inside your current one, keeping your components clean and isolated. The XU teleport tag takes children and renders them into entirely different DOM targets, like overlays or modals, while keeping them logically connected to the parent data. Once you start embedding complex programs like this, configuring them consistently across different environments becomes the next bottleneck. Slim uses a strict precedence chain. Data flows through URO parameters first, then root attributes, constructor options, and down to cookies. A URL parameter at the top always overrides a base cookie value at the bottom, ensuring explicit data always wins. Because of this chain, you can use the exact same Slim bundle to serve a static documentation page or a heavily parameterized interactive client demo without rewriting the code. You do have to manage this carefully. You'll need strict internal naming conventions to make sure your URL parameters don't accidentally collide with the parent page's routing. When you combine those structural tags with hierarchical configuration, a simple CDN script suddenly has the routing and state management power of a multi-page application. That brings us to the most critical question. What actually happens when your team outgrows the localized architecture of Slim? Xuda maintains absolute runtime parity across every deployment method, from a single script to a massive enterprise cluster. Because the expressions, structural tags, and program model are identical, graduating to the Xuda CLI is a migration of environment, not code. You move the same files into a typed source folder to gain the governance and build time safety of a full project. By maintaining this shared model, a localized prototype authored in the browser expands into a fully typed enterprise system without a single rewrite. This flowchart maps where to start. Tech leads shipping widgets or landing pages fast use the Slim CDN. Enterprise architects managing code-generated UIs pair Slim with explicit JSON. For large teams needing day-one governance and complex apps, start in the full Xuda CLI. Adopting Xuda Slim today gives you speed right now, while entirely removing the risk and cost of a platform rewrite tomorrow. Grab the CDN script from the Xuda platform to start building instantly.